Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Always excited and delighted to meet amazing artists and creatives here in Los Angeles. We're live coming to you from Santa Clarita, California, a new city that's blossoming, and fortunate enough to be with Johnny Peña, who's not only an amazing artist, but photographer to lots of celebs, but also fashion. And he's got such an artistic creative mind that as I was sitting here and looking at this book that he's got, Johnny Peña Presents, I just thought it was just a wonderful, wonderful way of presenting and celebrating women. So talk to us a little bit about your book and how you got interested in doing this project.
So I started doing this project,
Mhm.
Port Women, because I started working with Women's Image Awards,
Mhm.
and they honor women that are in the arts, in TV, film, but that show more than just body.
Right.
It's
Yes.
the depth. So they asked me to do something that would show how deep women are.
Mhm.
So I came up with this.
Mhm.
No matter what you do with women, try to hold them back, their true spirit is always going to come through.
Mhm.
And that's why her eyes are coming through
Mhm.
the hands.
Absolutely.
It's all power.
Yeah, absolutely. What drives your passion? How did you develop such a strong connection and such a feeling of passion about women in art?
My mother.
Mm.
My mother was Latina
Mhm.
with 3 boys. And I grew up in the 70s where, 70s was different. 60s was different.
Right.
Women didn't have power and control and able to get a loan, able to work. It
Right.
was very, very few jobs for them.
Sure.
And it would be just sit there and be beautiful
Mhm.
and be quiet.
Sure.
That's why there's a but.
Hmm. Very, very.
But again, no matter what, look at those eyes.
Sure.
That's strength.
Right. Sure. Sure.
That's
Yeah.
strength that I don't think men find.
Mm-hmm.
We can break things,
Right. Right. Sure.
but this strength is different.
Right. Right. Sure. And right. And they do help create life.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you got started here in LA. Did you originally grow up here, and how'd you find this artistic community?
So I'm from San Diego.
Okay.
And then I decided to get into fashion.
Mm.
So I went to FITM,
Mm-hmm.
Fashion
Right.
Institute,
Right.
and went through that whole program, then started running fashion companies and, just loved it. It was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then how did that continue to evolve once you got past that?
So then I started acting.
Mhm.
And then from there, I started managing talent,
Mhm.
and they were coming back with headshots. I started learning what the true industry wants, and it's not a posed
Right.
photo. They want to know your essence
Sure.
in a headshot.
Mhm.
That has to be there. Otherwise, it's a mannequin.
Right.
How are they going to figure out what roles do you play if your essence isn't there?
Sure.
So that's how that swung into that.
Sure. With a little bit of time that you might have with somebody before you photograph them, how do you find that? How do you pull out that essence? Because I'm sure your eyes definitely have a tremendous amount of vision and depth, but taking that to the next level to communicate with a camera is a whole skill set that not everybody has.
So doing this for 25 years, as soon as they walk in the door, I already know how
Sure.
the industry will cast them.
Mm.
And that's by working with amazing casting directors
Sure.
and going through headshots when we used to have to open up the envelopes,
Right.
put 5,000 down for each role.
Sure.
And then I would ask questions, and they were very gracious and say, okay, well, I'm not looking for a model.
Okay.
I'm looking for an actor that's going to be able to bring not just one note, but layers in a role, which is very different. Because you could say, I love you
Right.
with a big smile or with tears just coming down your eye.
Sure. Right.
And it's going to give you a whole different feeling.
Abs-
But a true actor is going to be able to give you that.
Sure. Do you sense your artistic creativity just is something that's always been there naturally, or that you, with all these experiences you had, you've continued to perfect a skill that maybe you always knew was there?
I think we're all creators.
Hmm.
That's why we're here, to
Right.
create something,
Right.
not only to use
Sure.
and get rid of.
Right.
So I've always known that I've had abilities. What they were, I didn't know,
Right.
but I was willing to try
Sure.
everything.
Right.
And when I really fall into it and enjoy it,
Mm.
because if you have passion and you enjoy something, you never work.
Right. I've heard people say that. What have been a couple of projects that you're extremely proud of, or that you look back and like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we pulled that off?
Well, I love the Women's Image Awards.
Mm-hmm.
I love this project with the book, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping to do a whole show soon.
Mm-hmm.
This one,
Mm-hmm.
one of the most memorable nights was when we did this,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched Quincy Jones for
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes look at this.
Right. Right.
And I walked up to him and introduced myself, and he was
Sure.
very kind and gracious,
Sure.
but he was nuts over that.
Sure. Absolutely. Sure.
And it's
No.
Quincy Jones, so it doesn't get better than
Sure.
that.
No, absolutely. Who's been another model, actress, or woman that you've worked with that you also feel you've really helped to shape or create a image of them that maybe they didn't even know they were expressing to you?
Uh, th- there's a lot of actors that I didn't know that I was an impact, and then later I see them and they tell me that I was. So that is very rewarding
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not here to put my stamp on somebody.
Sure.
I'm here to embrace them.
Mm.
I want to see them win.
Right.
So through my experience with the industry, I try to help that flower blossom, you
Sure.
know?
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And if we take a look inside, I remember when we were kind of doing this before we got started. Just tell us about sort of this young lady here.
Well, this is Rosanna Arquette, and she
Hmm.
was gracious enough to allow me to do one of these for the Win Awards, which was great.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Just really, just some amazing shots here and things like that. What did you feel like you were communicating here with this?
Uh, This is the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think sometimes we forget
Mm-hmm.
women are included.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Women birthed the world.
Right. Right. Sure. Sure. Absolutely.
So how do we put restrictions on that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We need to embrace and support and love
We do.
and not judge.
Sure. Sure. No.
We're doing too much judgment,
Yeah.
judging these
Yeah.
days.
Absolutely. Where do you sense that sort of domination comes from? Is it a maybe a deeper fear of, oh my gosh, if we really let women come into their own, we'll have to take a step back?
I mean, I can't speak for other people,
Mm-hmm.
but I think many men have that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I just think we need to embrace love,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone has the right to decide what is going to happen with their body and their
Sure.
spirit.
Sure. Absolutely. What were some of those key people that you sort of enjoyed just photographing when you were doing that?
It's wow, there's many. I just love working with talent
Mm-hmm.
because it's different. You're working with someone and you have this idea and they're along for the ride
Right.
and you just see it turn on,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's what's exciting to me.
Sure. With the fashion shows in particular, what is something that you would maybe tell a spectator the next time they happen to be at a show, or even if they're watching on TV, something that they should look for or really allow themselves to really be more in the moment?
It's just go
Right.
because it's all just fabulous, and it will open your mind
Sure.
because the designers are amazing, and then the talent that they have walking the runways
Yeah.
are incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a project you're looking forward to? I know you talked about the Women Image Award. That's something that you're like, gosh, if connections and money and logistics weren't an issue,
Right.
I would love to do this in the next, couple of years.
This is the project I really am going to spend all my time until it's done and support
Right.
and help change the thought process that's going on right.
Sure. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about the relationship with your mom and sort of what that was like growing up, because usually classically, and you all may have been different, but boys are a little bit more raucous, and it takes
Yeah,
some time to
I
really develop
definitely
that
was that.
appreciation with mom. It often comes when you have your own children
Right.
at an even greater level. How was that experience, or how did that transformation occur?
Well, I was 5. We were going to get something to eat. Where my mother's Latina from Chihuahua, Mexico. We were in Indiana. That's where my father's from.
Right.
And we were walking into a restaurant. And then my mother turned away and started walking away. At 5, I looked at her and said, "Why are we walking away?" Because I was hungry.
Yeah. Right.
And she said, "The sign says no dogs or Mexicans allowed."
Wow.
So she's so amazing.
Mhm.
She didn't go home
Right.
and just wilt.
Right.
She came back and opened a Mexican restaurant, probably the first one in Indiana.
Wow.
Right next to that restaurant.
Wow. That's a statement.
So that, I always see women as strength. And I got that from her.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And do you have children of your own?
Yes.
Sure. And a daughter?
My child is trans.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right. And so talk to us about sort of the things that you've noticed sort of in being now a father that you hope to try to communicate onto your child.
Well, I've always thought just love, but my kid helped me to understand just love, just pure, and take out any judgment.
Sure. What do you sense is that challenge? Because like you said, so many of us, especially in the LA area, are very creative, and obviously there are other cities as well, but that kind of cause that barrier because we see it so much in children. They're so creative and so loving and so free, and then something seems to change as time goes by.
It could be something one person says will stick with you forever and keep you from being that true being that you are.
Sure.
And that's sad. And we all just need to stop. It's hard to pin it down to one thing because it could be something you heard or someone told you or your parents or some kid at the playground.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true. Words.
Or our society saying, you don't have control. We do as a government.
Sure. Yeah.
Over you and your body.
Right.
That's not right.
True. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, no, I think you've hit on it. That sense of control is something that can really, and words. I think those would definitely be two elements. Where can we find more about you and your work and your projects as they continue to unfold?
Johnny Peña Photography. .com.
Sure, absolutely. And it sounds like the Women's Image Awards, just to do a shameless plug for them, is that something that goes on every year here in the area?
Every year, 25 years.
Wow.
She's amazing. If you go to that award show, you'll see a woman who just keeps moving and keeps supporting women. Her name's Phyllis Stewart.
Okay, sure.
And she's amazing.
Right, sure. No,
Yeah.
excellent. Sure. And you guys, it sounds like you guys get a chance to meet and then start working together.
Yeah, we worked together maybe 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's a very dear friend at this point.
Sure. Absolutely. Good. And it sounds like also a couple of some of the same type of cloth, a very strong woman who's also determined to continue to uplift the image of women.
I'm from Indiana. She's from Chicago.
Oh,
So that Midwest
it's
spirit
right, sure,
is there.
sure, right.
You know,
That,
you don't complain
sure,
when it's snow. You just figure out how to get your car out of it
right,
and get to where you need to get to.
right, right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you're here in the art mecca in the world and beautiful weather and no such thing as snow unless you're in the mountains,
Let's just
you
do
continue to
it. Let's
achieve it.
just care and love each other.
Exactly. Sure. No.
Yeah.
What a powerful message. Well, thanks so much. Thanks for letting us come not only into your artwork, but into your heart and sharing
I
your
appreciate
story about your mom and things like that. Because I always think that's endearing to really learn where that passion, especially in a creative, comes from. Thanks so much.
Thank you for
Sure.
having me.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
All right.